Hi, I'm Cailey, a librarian here at Mentor Public Library.
And I'm Meg, also a librarian, and welcome to this week's edition of All Books Out with Cailey and Meg, where each time we give you different book recommendations on a specific theme. This time, we're going to be looking at adult summer beach reads. So we're nearing the end of July. However, there's still plenty of time for you to check out these awesome books that have recently come out.
Yes, and I think beach read's a very vague term. It can be a beachy book, but sometimes I think it's just a book that you really want to curl up with in the summer.
Absolutely.
And all of the books that we're going to talk about today came out this year, and they are all available in the library as well as online with your library card for free through Libby and Hoopla. Alrighty, Meg, what is your first beach read?
My first beach read is called The Last Summer at the Golden Hotel by Elyssa Friedland. And this book features a sumptuous summer resort in the Catskill Mountains.
Ooh, very Dirty Dancing.
Exactly.
Is Patrick Swayze in it?
I wish, right? But it's definitely reminiscent of that. And it's about the families who run it and their relationships, and also maybe the rediscovery of what makes summer magical and nostalgic in the first place. So the name of the hotel is actually the Golden Hotel. Mm-hmm. And in its heyday, it was the crown jewel of the hotter than hot Catskills vacation scene. For more than 60 years, the two families, the Goldman family and the Weingold families, they were best friends and business partners. But now the year is 2018 and their relationship isn't quite the same as it used to be between the two families. And since the building, the resort, is kind of run down and not as popular as it used to be, they're getting tempted by sales offers to buy the resort and kind of quit doing what they've been doing for a really long time. Mm-hmm. So because this is kind of a momentous decision, both of the families meet together one last summer in 2018 at the Golden Hotel. And these families are pretty entertaining, to say the least. Kind of reminds me, if anyone's seen the movie Knives Out, about the big family that kind of puts the fun in dysfunctional. That's kind of what it reminds me of. A lot of interesting relationships between the characters, hidden agendas and secrets and rivalries. So there's a lot of humor to it as well, in addition to the drama. And also, since it's the first time some of them have seen each other in a long time, there's a lot of, of fun things they actually do together at the hotel. So it just kind of gives me a lot of summer, reminds me of my own childhood summers and kind of the fun things that you do. And yeah, like you said, I love the Dirty Dancing connection as well. So yeah, so definitely a fun summery type read.
Excellent. Yeah, I think I remember reading about that one and thinking it reminded me of Dirty Dancing.
Right.
Something I'll have to check out. Yeah. So my first one is called Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. And this author actually wrote one of my favorite rom-coms, The Hating Game. So this is her newest title that I just finished and had to pick up because, I had liked her other work. Yeah. So it is not exactly a rom-com, I'd say, but it has a little of that. This book is about Ruthie, who is age 25, but living the life of a 75-year-old. Ruthie helps to run a retirement community and lives on site in a staff housing situation where she is at the beck and call of the residents 24/7, basically. She works as the front desk operator, but this year she has been basically temporarily promoted while the director is on an extended cruise. And so she's thrust into this role of like being in charge of everything, which she's excited about, but there's a lot of changes and things kind of throwing off her perfect, tidy sort of world. Ruthie is a woman who loves her routines and checklists. Oh, the checklists. And so all of these changes have kind of thrown her off her game a little bit. First, the company has been bought. The Providence Retirement Villa has been purchased by a big company called PDG Industries. And PDG is an unknown entity for them. They don't know what is going to happen with Providence. if it's going to be maintained, if it's going to be updated, or if it's going to be like torn down and turned into condos. And there's a lot of confusion and concern about that. And on top of that, with her boss being out, you know, Ruthie's taken on all these responsibilities, and she has a new temp basically running what she used to do. And her temp's name is Melanie Sasaki. And Melanie is determined that Ruthie needs to get a little bit out of her comfort zone and start acting like the 25-year-old she is. So Melanie has developed the Sasaki method, which she's going to trademark, and help Ruthie with changing the way she dresses, giving her a makeover, basically helping her find a boyfriend. So on top of all of this stuff happening, there is a new staff member around named Teddy. And Teddy is gorgeous, tattooed, long hair, exactly everything she doesn't really need, but he is so charming and getting under her skin and making her, you know, feel like the 25-year-old woman she actually is. But he goes against everything the Sasaki method has planned for her. And he is also the son of the company owner, PDG, except he doesn't really have a lot of influence there, but that's why he's around. So this book is just a lot of fun, honestly. It's fun to see Ruthie, you know, try to do all these changes and make a makeover of herself. They talk about doing a clothing montage at one point, making her try on new clothes, step away from the brown skirts and oversized cardigans that she favors. There's also a lot of fun with the residents in the retirement community, including a couple of 90-something-year-old sisters who revel in giving Teddy menial tasks to do, like, we want McDonald's, but plate it like it's a 5-star meal. So there's a lot of humor in this book, and it's a lot of fun to see Ruthie try to become who she should be. And she's been stuck in this rut for so long, and to see how she can develop into the person she should be and, you know, find a voice for herself. It's a fun summer read, I think, too. It's a quick read.
Yeah, I love it. I love the characters. The characters seem really fun and engaging.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sasuke method? That's
Sasaki.
Sasaki. Yeah, okay. I love it. That's awesome. So my next one is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. So this is the first, it just came out in May. It's going to be the first book in what's going to be a series called, the series is going to be called the Tita Rosie's Kitchen Mysteries series. So it's like cozy mysteries, which I think are pretty popular for beach reads just because they're a combination of lightheartedness, but also like whodunit. So, you know, it keeps you turning the page. So I think a good cozy mystery is fun for the beach sometimes. This particular one, Arsenic and Adobo, begins with protagonist Leela Macapagal, and she's moving back home after a horrible breakup. So she's kind of in a down mood at the beginning of the book, but she's coming back home, and she's coming home for a specific purpose. She's trying to help her aunt, Rosie, fix her restaurant, which is failing horribly. So if she doesn't come, it's going to fail because Leela is a great chef, and she has all these ideas, and she thinks she can try and help her aunt out. And so that's kind of the beginning of the book. That's how it begins. In addition to her Aunt Rosie, she also has like what she calls her like posse of nosy aunties who kind of want to matchmake her with someone or kind of criticize her like on what you're not doing right. And so it's kind of very funny at the beginning, and you know, you think it's going to go one way, just all smooth sailing, lighthearted, but then something kind of dramatic happens. Her ex comes back to town, and they kind of have this confrontation. And shortly after that confrontation, her ex drops dead. Yeah. So, and the worst part is Leela is implicated, and she becomes the prime suspect. So, yikes. So she can't really focus on cooking anymore exactly. So she kind of has to switch gears, and now she's becomes like this Agatha Christie type murder investigator, and she enlists the help of her nosy aunties to help her figure out who the real killer was and to kind of save her own, I guess, her own skin in a way. But she also has the help of her little dachshund dog and also her barista best friend. So there's a lot of fun characters, and you also actually get real recipes. So if you want to cook some things, like this will make you hungry for sure, reading this book. So yeah, bring a snack with you to the beach.
So it's got that sort of like the Hannah Swenson series, the Joey and
Yes.
Fluke books.
Yes.
That's cool. I like that there's a new, someone else emulating that idea, but maybe with some different cultural references and stuff. That's fun.
Yes, exactly.
So my next book is called Maps for the Getaway by Annie England Noblin. And this is about three friends who rent a 1962 convertible, red, of course, and set off on the road trip of their lives. So Cece, Jeannie, Kate, and Lori promised to be BFFs forever back in high school. But, some 20 odd years later, their lives have pulled them all in different directions. Everyone's gone different ways, and they haven't really kept up their friendship aside from, what they might see on social media. So when Lori, one of the friends who was a famous, successful author, she passes away suddenly, the three remaining friends are reunited, and they decide, in honor of their friend Lori, they are going to take a road trip from Missouri to Vegas to see a reunion concert of their favorite boy band from high school, all in honor of their friend. And the women, they have this history together. So there's that like nostalgia vibe of, reconnecting with friends. And, they've sort of kept up with each other, but it's all been sort of through like social media posts. And, there's only so much that you see on there, and it doesn't give you the full story. And each woman's sort of struggling with their own things. Cece is in really not the greatest marriage. Her husband's been cheating on her. She feels like she's like stuck in a rut. Jeannie has been taking care of her sick father, but there's really nobody taking care of her. And Kate has this like Instagram perfect life, but behind the scenes, it's not so pretty. And together, the women are traveling across the country, and they sort of like start off with all the niceties and the memories and things, and then you start to get a little deeper, and that perfect facade sort of cracks, and they open up to each other and recount their past, as well as be sort of honest with each other about their present and where they want to go in the future. The book jumps perspective a lot, like from each woman. So you get to learn a little bit about their history from each friend's perspective, as well as, what's going on in their lives now, what they feel about their friends now. And it's kind of cool, like to see all the different perspectives for the story, especially when you're talking about a big group. They each sort of filled these roles back in high school in their friend group, and now how they kind of fit or don't fit into those roles now. Of course, this is just a lot of fun because it's a road trip story. And I feel like almost any time you have a road trip story, like the road trip never goes quite as planned. So there's a lot of humor in this, both in the relationships of the women, but also the things that they encounter roadside, including a bus full of male strippers, a so ugly it's almost cute dog that's on the road, and they even wind up at one point visiting a casino prison.
Okay.
So all in all, though, this is like a great book about friendships, about how they change and evolve over time. And it's interesting to see these women go from the teenagers to the late 30 somethings, and how their lives have changed and brought them back together at this point.
Man, a summer road trip, that is something I've always like wanted to do, like go out west. So that just immediately seems like such an iconic summer thing to do. And then
Mhm.
I think it's relatable too. Like I think we all know like friends who live, other parts of the country or whatever, and losing contact with them. So I think that's a really cool story to read about. And yeah, I love it. All right. Well, thank you guys for catching up with our new book reads for this year. We hope you got some good recommendations and that you relax and go to the beach maybe and read some books. So join us next time and we'll catch you later.
Yeah. Happy reading.